There's a certain kind of peace that no one can give you, and no one can take from you, unless you allow it. But we live in a world that constantly tempts us to surrender that peace. Not through war or violence, but through the environment we place ourselves in. A Stoic knows the world outside may be chaotic, but the world within must be still, and that inner stillness can only be protected when we become conscious of the external environments that shape our thoughts, emotions, and decisions. In this video, we'll explore 4 environments that steal your peace of mind, subtly, slowly, and often without you even noticing. Stoicism doesn't just teach us what to think, it teaches us where to be, how to live, and what to walk away from in order to preserve our soul. 1. The environment of constant noise. There are places that never shut up. Noise is everywhere, literal and figurative. Cars honking, phones buzzing, advertisements yelling, people talking over each other without really saying anything. But noise is not just sound. It's distraction. It's overstimulation. It's the absence of silence. And silence is where the soul recalibrates. The Stoics valued solitude, not because they hated society, but because they understood that clarity is born in quiet. Marcus Aurelius often wrote alone in the early hours of the morning. Epictetus emphasized silence as a sign of strength. Seneca warned us that the greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, and that living in reaction mode, constantly stimulated, constantly distracted, was a form of internal exile. When you're surrounded by constant noise, you lose access to your inner voice. You stop hearing your own wisdom. You stop sensing your instincts. You begin living on autopilot, chasing every alert, jumping at every headline, reacting to every impulse. A Stoic chooses silence, not to escape the world, but to engage with it more powerfully, on their own terms. If you want peace of mind, step away from the noise. Put your phone down, turn off the background clutter. Spend time in nature. Watch the sun rise without recording it. Walk without headphones. Let your mind breathe, because your mind, like your lungs, needs oxygen, and silence is its air. 2. The environment of comparison. You may not feel unhappy until you open social media, until you see someone else doing better, until you're reminded that your life doesn't look like theirs, that they have more, travel more, smile more, seem happier. This is the second environment that quietly destroys peace, the environment of comparison. We were never meant to measure our worth against thousands of strangers every day. Stoics warned us long before Instagram. If you wish to be happy, do not concern yourself with the opinions of others. Epictetus. But comparison isn't just about opinions. It's about illusion. Social media is a highlight reel. It hides struggle. It filters flaws. It manufactures perfection. Yet we compare our real lives to these fake snapshots. And slowly, the seed of envy is planted. Peace is poisoned. You begin to resent your progress. You forget how far you've come. You chase lifestyles instead of character. You build an image instead of a soul. Stoics reject this. They do not seek validation from the crowd. They do not need applause to know they are worthy. Their self-worth is built on virtue, not visibility. When you stop comparing, you start living. When you stop scrolling, you start seeing. When you stop chasing what others have, you start appreciating what's already in your hands. If you want peace of mind, curate your digital environment. Unfollow noise. Mute distractions. Spend more time with real people. And even more time with your true self. 3. The environment of negativity and gossip. Some places carry a dark cloud, not because of the weather, but because of the energy. You walk into the room, and you can feel it: tension, bitterness, envy. People don't uplift, they criticize. They don't listen, they interrupt. They don't dream, they complain. This is the environment of negativity and gossip. And if you stay there too long, you start to absorb it. Negativity is contagious. When everyone around you is cynical, sarcastic, or bitter, you become numb to the beauty of life. You forget that hope exists, that goodness exists, that discipline and optimism are not naive, they're necessary. Gossip, too, is a silent thief. It seems harmless, even fun, but it erodes trust, integrity, and eventually, your peace. Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't waste what remains of your life in speculating about others. It keeps you from doing anything useful." Stoics do not entertain drama. They do not criticize behind backs. They do not poison their minds with petty words about others. They choose environments of respect, of purpose, of honesty. They seek out people who elevate, not diminish, who speak with intention, not for amusement. If you want peace of mind, exit conversations that lower your standards. Walk away from rooms filled with complaints. Surround yourself with those who speak of ideas, not people, who speak from growth, not from gossip, because peace is fragile, and negativity is louder than truth. 4. The environment of rush and restlessness. This is perhaps the most invisible enemy of peace. Not loud, not dramatic, just fast, always urgent, always chasing, always doing. The environment of rush tells you to move faster. That stillness is laziness. That rest is weakness. That you must be doing something, or you're falling behind. But Stoics know, hurry is the enemy of clarity. When you rush, you stop thinking. You stop living. You react instead of respond. You burn through time like it's infinite, only to regret the moments you never fully experienced. Modern life glorifies productivity, but Stoicism values presence. It's not how much you do, it's how deeply you live. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. With awareness and integrity, the Stoic walks slowly, intentionally. They rise with purpose. They eat with gratitude. They converse with depth. They sleep without guilt. If your life feels chaotic, it's not because you're doing too little. It may be because you're doing too much. That doesn't matter. If you want peace of mind, slow down. Don't just take a break. Be the break. Don't wait for vacation. Make moments of stillness a daily ritual. Peace isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you build, breath by breath, moment by moment. Conclusion: peace is not a luxury. It's not reserved for monks or philosophers or those with perfect lives. Peace is a discipline. It's a choice you make each day, with what you consume, where you go, who you speak to, and how you live. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't just guard their time. They guarded their environment. Let's recap the 4 environments that steal your peace. 1. Constant noise. The assault of stimulation that buries your own voice. 2. Comparison. The illusion of inadequacy that blinds you to your own progress. 3. Negativity and gossip. The silent erosion of joy and purpose. 4. Rush and restlessness. the addiction to motion that robs you of meaning. To be truly stoic is not to isolate yourself, but to be deliberate. To place yourself where your soul can breathe. To choose silence over noise. Simplicity over clutter. Depth over distraction. You cannot always control the world. But you can always walk away from what doesn't serve your inner peace. And sometimes, that one decision changes everything.